Hey, what's up, YouTube? Just coming at you with the MLB Power Rankings. My first MLB Power Rankings on YouTube for the year. I've done some of my other ones, just haven't posted them on YouTube, so I'm going to start out right here. It's the week of May 11th. So going into this week, the Power Rankings, we're going to start off with 30 and work our way up to 1. We're going to spend, obviously, more time on the teams higher up and spend less time on the teams lower down when we're covering them. And then also on this channel, I'm going to do other different types of baseball power rankings, pitching staffs, outfields, lineups, coaching staffs, anything you can think of. If you have a suggestion for something I should rank, because I can rank almost anything, put it down in the comments, and I will do my best to try to do that one eventually, or sometimes maybe periodically throughout the season. So, but every Monday, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday if I'm late, I'm going to give the power rankings for that week. I'm going to start off with number 30. And almost all the power rankings I've seen so far this week, the Brewers are still in 30. I did not put them at 30. I put the Phillies at 30. I think they're just really underperforming because I think they have the talent. They're just underperforming, so they're 30. And the Brewers are 29. I gave them the benefit of the doubt. They just picked up new manager, Craig Counsell. So I think, he's going to help them transition to a little bit better baseball team. They're still not very good. And going up to 28, I've got Sports Illustrated picked this team to win the World Series this year. I've got them at 28 right now, my power rankings. That's the Cleveland Indians. They're doing really poorly so far this year. They're just really underperforming. Their pitching staff is not doing so hot right now. There's a reigning Cy Young Award winner. He's 0-5 this year so far, so he's really got to step it up if he wants the Indians to contend, because it's still early. Any of these teams could turn around. Then at 27, I've got the Oakland Athletics, another team that a lot of people like. They've been consistent and competitive the last few years, almost every year. Billy Beane's done a great job with the team, and they're just struggling this year. They're in last place in the AL West, behind two of the teams that a lot of people thought would do poorly, and that's the Rangers and the Astros, but we'll get to those teams later. Well, the Rangers, they're up now. They're 26 this week. They're 13-18 at a .419 winning percentage. I'd like to say that they're underperforming, but they're not. Not a lot of people picked the Rangers going into this season. They were supposed to be in a tough division. Doesn't look like the hardest division so far this year, but yeah, they're still struggling. And at 25, one of the teams that I picked to do really well in the AL West, the AL Central, was the Chicago White Sox. I picked them. I think I might have picked them to win that division, or I think I had to pick them as a wild card. Yeah, I picked them as a wild card, but they're really underperforming. Ventura can't really get the guys together. Jose Abreu, he's not hitting that great. He's hitting all right, but they've got Samardzija. He's about average, but they really got to step it up. Okay, who's next? All right, number 24, the Colorado Rockies. They had one of the hottest starts after about a week, but they're sitting in last place in their division with a .393 winning percentage. Since they had a pretty hot start, I kind of left them up. I bumped them up a little bit more than they should have. Some people had them in the bottom 3, bottom 4. I put them at 24. That's still pretty low, but yeah, they're 8 games out. Okay, 23, the Atlanta Braves out in the NL East. They have started out, where is it? Oh, sorry about that. They're 14-17, 6 games out of first in the East. But the East throwing a lot of people off. What the standings are looking like. We'll get to that a little later. Number 22, the Seattle Mariners. I think the Sports Illustrated had them going to the championship series against the Indians and losing. But they're 14-17. They're hanging in there. And they have them in the bottom 10 teams, but they're only 3 games under 500, and they've got guys like Felix Hernandez and Taijuan Walker, but Hisashi Iwakumo's on the DL, so that's obviously going to hurt them. Also hurts my fantasy team. Iwakumo's one of my studs last year. And then we've got at number 21, the Baltimore Orioles. Baltimore, they've had a little bit of a rough start to the year. They've had to play a home series in Tropicana Field due to what's happened in Baltimore the past few weeks. They had to postpone a couple games. So, I have some sympathy for the Orioles, but they've really got to step it up. There's 3 games under 500. And hey, they're in the best division in baseball, in my opinion. A lot of people do not think the AL East is the best division in baseball anymore, but these teams are competing. It's the closest division right now in the major leagues. The Orioles are in last place, and they're only 5.5 out. So I think anybody can win this division. The Orioles could come back and win it. Right now, I'd still pick the Yankees. I think they have the strongest pitching staff. I would say Tampa Bay, but their pitching staff has suffered a lot of injuries. Drew Smiley's probably out for the year. Cobb's out for the year. They're relying, they're having to pick who's starting each day. But we'll get to them later. I got them pretty high up. No spoiler alerts. Number 20, the Orioles' division mate, Boston Red Sox. They're in 4th place. They're doing just about as good as I thought they'd do. Buchholz, he's hit or miss. He's so wishy-washy. He'll have games where he'll come and shut a team out, and then he'll have games he'll get lit up. So, the Red Sox have to figure something out. Number 19, the Miami Marlins in the NL East. They're 15 and 17, only 2 games under 500, so they're doing all right. They, Stanton's got to be able to produce a little more, and their pitching's got to figure it out. That's, if you look at the teams who are at the top of this power ranking, it's their pitching staff, man. They're really carrying them. Number 19, that was 19. Okay, 18, the Miami Marlins. Oh, no, sorry about that. 18 is the Cincinnati Reds out in the NL Central. They're doing all right, only a game under 500. They're 7 games out of first place in their division. 17, the Arizona Diamondbacks out in the West. They're doing a lot better than I thought they would do this year. I thought they would absolutely suck this year, just based on how they did last year, and it didn't really come to the season promising. They picked up Jeremy Hellickson, starting pitcher from Tampa Bay. So that kind of, he's going to help boost them a little bit, but they're going to need to pick it up. 16, Pittsburgh Pirates in the NL Central. Pittsburgh, they are ranked 16, but in a month I could see them ranked number 1. That's just how streaky Pittsburgh can get, and they've got, in my opinion, one of the better outfields in baseball. I don't want to say best because this isn't the outfield power rankings, but if I do those later, expect to see them towards the top. 15, Toronto Blue Jays out in the AL East. They've got the bats to do it. We know they can hit for power with Bautista, Encarnacion, Josh Donaldson, Melky Cabrera. These guys can hit. So, as long as their pitchers are being consistent, Mark Burley, R.A. Dickey, they missed Stroman. He tore his ACL in March during spring training, so they're missing him this year, but they're definitely looking good so far. Number 14, the Los Angeles Angels out in the West of the American League. They're sitting pretty in 2nd place in their division, 5 games out of 1st place, so they're going to have to pick up the pace a little bit if they want to win the division. 13, the defending world champion San Francisco Giants, sitting at 500 and in 3rd place in their division, 5 games out. They're 7-3 over the last 10 games, so I gave them a little bit of boost in the power rankings. I had them, I can't remember where I had them last week, I think 16 or 17. So that gave them a little bit of boost. They're playing really hot right now, and they're just going to keep on keeping on, and they'll be fighting for a wild card spot. I don't see them winning that division. It's a tough division to win. Okay, number 12, the Chicago Cubs, with new manager Joe Madden, keeping them at 500, in 2nd place in the NL Central. Okay, number 11, the San Diego Padres, had probably the biggest offseason this winter. Picked up guys like Will Myers, Justin Upton, Craig Kimbrell they got. So, they were really putting together a team. They have a young GM, and he is not afraid to make moves. So, they're going to be an exciting team to watch coming up for this summer, and they're definitely going to contend for a playoff spot. All right, here we are. Here's where it gets exciting. The top 10 teams in the major leagues. Who's it going to be? Who's going to be number 1? Well, we'll start off with number 10, and this is a big shocker. They're really performing this year. I think they could keep it up. They're a scrappy little team, and that's the Minnesota Twins. The Twins are really performing. Every one of their players is contributing, and that's what they're going to need to make a run for the playoffs if they have what it takes. But number 9, another scrappy team that, despite all the injuries that they're suffering and new manager, new front office, they're winning baseball games. That's the Tampa Bay Rays. Smiley just got put on the DL again. He's having shoulder surgery, most likely out for the year. And Alex Cobb's undergoing Tommy John surgery. He's out for this year and most of next year. Matt Moore's recovering from Tommy John surgery. He'll be back in late June or early July. They've had players in and out of the DL. They've been having to call up guys just to play baseball games. The guys are getting sick. Odorizzi had the flu. Longoria had the flu. And, they lost their GM, lost their manager. But the Rays are still winning baseball games, and they're scrappy, and they're playing hard. So that's why they're in second place in the AL East, only 3 games out of first place. So number 8, the Washington Nationals. A lot of people picked them to win it all this year. Preseason power rankings, they were number 1 in almost every single power ranking. They're doing really well. They're 2 games over 500, and they're 8-2 over the last 10 games. Bryce Harper, he's putting on a show out there. He had 6 home runs in 3 of his last few games. So they're doing really well. They're on a 4-game streak right now. And that'll bring us to number 7, the Houston Astros. Not a lot of people picked the Houston Astros to do really well this year, but they are 20-12, 8 games over 500, and atop the AL West, 5 games over the Los Angeles Angels. So that puts them at 7. Keuchel's having a really great year for them on the mound. Number 6, the Bronx Bombers. They were the dynasty, and then they sort of tapered off. But now I think they're forming their own. They're rebuilding this year. It didn't take them as long as I thought it would to rebuild after the losses of Jeter and Mariano Rivera. And this is a shocker, but one of their biggest competitors this year, one of their biggest contributors, is Alex Rodriguez. He came up this year. He's still hitting home runs. He's still getting on base, and he's really helping their lineup. Number 5. Here we go, the top 5. These are the top 5 teams in baseball. Number 5, the defending American League champion Kansas City Royals. They came out here and they demanded respect from teams. Some of it is a little Bush League, I thought, from Yordano Ventura, but he might just be a bad seed in the Royals organization, and they have a great team moving forward. Number 4, another shocker atop the power rankings, is New York Mets. The New York Mets, they have a great pitching staff, and sometimes they were overlooked through the offseason with DeGrom, Harvey, and they have Syndergaard coming up. Bartolo Colon's doing pretty well. I saw him get an RBI single, which was really a shocker. The Mets, they're doing really well, sitting atop the NL East at 20-11, a 645 winning percentage. So just keep it up. Keep it up, Mets. Number 3, the Detroit Tigers. This team can hit. They've got the best hitter of this generation. They've got David Price, Justin Verlander, who's hurt. But nonetheless, the Detroit Tigers are 19-13. I had them above the Royals, even though they're below the Royals in the standings. I just think they're a better baseball team than the Royals. And if they played a 7-game series today, I'd pick the Tigers to win it in probably 4 or 5 games. I think that's just how much better they are. All right, number 2, the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Los Angeles Dodgers they had a new front office move. Andrew Friedman from the Rays, and Andrew Friedman was a winner for the Tampa Bay Rays organization. And the Dodgers really, he might be their last missing piece, was the GM, and they are doing very well, 20-10, winning twice as many games as they've lost. They've got a huge payroll, and it's really working. Kershaw's not as good as he was last year. He probably won't even win the Cy Young this year. I know it's early, guys. Sorry. But, if his off year is him having a 3.5 ERA, that's fine. And number 1, if you couldn't tell by, the attire I'm wearing, this Matt Carpenter batting practice jersey, you can't really see it, but Carpenter's 13 on the back, and my hat. The number 1 team is the St. Louis Cardinals. The Redbirds are tearing it up this year. They're a great team, highest winning percentage in baseball at 7-10. They lost Wainwright for the season, but that does not stop them from competing. They're gonna be there all year, and they could win it all this year. And I think they have what it takes. They've got Matt Adams, John Jay, Matt Carpenter, Jason Hayward, Matt Holliday. They've got 3 Matts they can totally rake. Moving forward, definitely keep a close eye on the St. Louis Cardinals. That's going to be it for this week's Power Rankings. I enjoyed going through my top 30 out of 30. Like I said, suggestions on what I should rank, what I should give a top 10 list on, just throw anything down that you want in the comments. We try to be posting once, maybe twice a week. But that's about it. See you later.